We don't always drink beer at 8:30 in the morning, but when we do, it's because there's one of those hanging from the gambrel.
Had us a pretty good night last night. Came out to North Dakota after these guys got lucky in Nebraska on an awesome mule deer, and we were eyeing up a pretty good cold front that was coming through yesterday, which was Saturday the 7th. We came out here Thursday night, didn't hunt till Friday, ran around, pulled cards, and had a little bit of intel, but not a lot of deer movement on the cards that we pulled. So we hunted Friday night, didn't have any shooters come in. Brennen wanted to go back to sit the same spot for the cold front, and we went to a different spot that we call the Slip. I actually hunted it with Unger opening weekend, and we're hunting a buck, this buck that we called FT10 or Flat Top 10. Lo and behold, we pulled the card yesterday when we got in there, and 2 new bucks had showed up since we were gone, and actually 1 new buck, but just a giant buck. And you know, Mike and I are sitting in the tree. We had 3 shooters coming in daylight all week while we were gone. So expectations were really high last night. Felt right. We had a 20-degree temp drop, but the winds were cooking where we were at. We were sitting there, had a couple does come in and glassing out in the beans. Saw 2 of the shooters way out in the beans, probably 300-400 yards out, glassing them, watching them, hoping that they're gonna make up their mind and come through the Slip, and they did not. And while I'm glassing them, I turn and look, and 80 yards around in the marsh, here's this guy, FT10, coming through. So I immediately went, 0 to 100, my heartbeat, and told Mike to swing the camera and get on him, and he offered me a perfect 20-yard shot coming through the Slip, and zipped him right through front shoulder on the right side here. You won't be able to see that. He's quartered to just a hair, put it right here. Exit was just beautiful on this other side. That swacker is the new blue swacker, just tore him up, and he tumbled within 80 yards of the stand, and got to see that all go down. This is the first buck that I've killed since 2015. I've spent a lot of time behind the camera, so felt really good to actually be in front of the camera, have Mike on board for that. It was awesome. And we tried to pull a fast one on the guys. We're packing up shop to head to Nebraska, Brennen and I, so we didn't tell them that we killed. We tore the stands out of the tree. We went to pick them up, and they went to throw their packs in the back of the truck, saw that we had killed, and Brennen goes,
We had shot one too. We were trying to pull the same thing on those guys. Aaron and I decided to pull all our stands and stuff down out of the tree, and we were just gonna hop in the truck and ride back to camp before we told them. And lo and behold, we doubled. I didn't find mine quite as easily as Dylan did. He went probably 500 plus yards. No idea how. The shot was good. We just actually got done gutting him out. We found him this morning. We had to back out last night because he crossed through one marsh, went across a bean field, and then around these marshes, there's buffers out here on a lot of the marshes, and real low grass, brown, extremely difficult to see blood. What I think happened is I clipped one lung and destroyed the other one, but I think what happened is his entrance and exit hole plugged up, and he just wasn't bleeding, so the only blood we were getting was coming out of his mouth, so we were just getting drops of blood, and our lights started to get dim on us, and we just backed out. Sick through the night, really concerned about the coyotes finding him. We went in there this morning, picked up the blood trail, and he probably only went another 150 yards from where we stopped last night. And he's right here. Let's check him out.
Do you show yours off first?
Just a minute.
Big thank you to Mike and JP, who are going to be taking the quarters and the head back for me, so that they can keep it cold while Brennen and I head to Nebraska and chase mule deer. So pretty awesome. Heck yeah. Show yours off, B.
Dump them out. Oh. We didn't have any history with this deer. We were actually in this spot last night hunting 2 bucks that we got, I think, 3 years of history with. A buck we call Bung and a buck that we call Traveler. Traveler, he was named Traveler because we get him on camera. It's 2 miles that way, 3 miles this way. He's just all over this place out here. Incredible buck. He's still got a little bit of velvet hanging up here on his bases and up his brows, but just a solid 8-pointer out here in North Dakota. Couldn't be happier. It's been an early season to remember out here, between Aaron killing on opening night, going out west, Mike shooting a mule deer, Dylan and I doubling last night. 4 deer in North Dakota in a matter of 8 days is just unreal. We've never had this kind of luck early season, but this cool weather. Usually we're hunting out here opening weekend and temps are in the 80s. This year we were looking at the low 70s, and yesterday got 52 degrees, I think, was the high. So just unbelievable buck movement with this cool weather we're getting here in September. Great start to the season. Couldn't have really drawn it up any better. Awesome buck, 2 awesome bucks. Within, I'm gonna say we released arrows within 10 minutes of each other, if I had to guess. We're gonna get these deer quartered up. Like Dylan said, thankfully, Mike and Aaron are heading back to Wisconsin. They're gonna be able to take all the meat with them and get it packed on ice, get it in the cooler back home. And Dylan and I are heading back out to western Nebraska to chase mule deer. Dylan's got an antelope tag in his pocket, but that's kind of our secondary option. Main goal is to get on some muleys out there. We're gonna give it a solid 4 or 5 day effort and see what happens. Brand new area to us. We scouted it a week or 2 weeks back. Didn't see a ton of deer, but we've seen some nice deer. So we're hoping the first 7 or 8 days of the season out there wasn't too pressured. Hopefully some of those good bucks we've seen are still in the areas that we've seen them, and hopefully we can make it happen. Appreciate you guys tuning in to watch another episode of Deer 30 here. We're gonna keep these rolling throughout the season, kind of give you guys more of a semi-live look at how our season is progressing. Fill you in on how the deer movement is, where we're at, where we're heading next. And if you like what you see, give us a thumbs up. If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel. Drop comments down below if you have any questions. Fill us in on the deer movement is, you know, how the deer movement is, where you guys are at, where you're hunting, what you're seeing. You know, we appreciate everybody following along. If it wasn't for you guys, we wouldn't be able to do this. So thanks again for tuning in, and we'll see you again on Deer 30 next week. Yippee! Nobody?